Hi, we are from section 4. I'm Paulina Mejias.
I'm Tamara Vergara.
And this is our task. So the question is, how Chilean education approach diversity? The Chilean education, in theory, want to approach the diversity, but in reality don't. Why? Because they try with, for example, the ley de inclusión escolar that is current as for this year for the very first time, but that only includes the condition for having a free and good education and without regret your social class or the money that you have or the way you look. But this law don't consider the way that you are or your sexual orientation. Mostly in religious schools, we can see this in so much as they have their vision of the world and what they consider normal, what the word is good or is bad. For example, they consider the LGBT community are persons who are sick and they need help for change. And they in their school they teach that to the children, and that is not good. And these people feel wrong, and they can show themselves. When in every school when they speak about LGBT or different sexual orientation, they refer about like something that you have to change and not something that you have to accept.
Our topic, the LGBT community, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community, for many years it was considered like a minority, but through the years this community expanded, having a really group of members in every country around the world. Here in Chile, for many years it was legal, so it was not something that we, the government, took care. But in the last decade, Chilean society had an openness to diversity, and the government helped some laws like Acuerdo de Unión Civil and military service, because before, if you was gay in the servicio militar, military service, they throw you off from the military service. They has a really high military police standards to keep pace. This institution accept homosexuality with tolerance and become more secular in his country. But that's not mean they don't have struggles to implement LGBT positivity social policy.
Because the people don't want to accept the gay community, even when the government tried to have publicities and new laws about it, the people don't accept it because we live in a Catholic society, so the religion is very strong in our community, so they think they are sick and they have to help them. It's like an illness, but it really don't. They are who we are, and that's no matter what. You have to accept them.
People who have the opposite side from the government, now the government want to give the option to the LGBT people to adopt children, but the opposite say the children gonna grow up with the mentally sick and they have to discrimination in the school.
How we know that how two mothers or two dads don't affect in the development of the kid. It's just a sexual preference, but no, don't mean that the child's gonna grow up gay or they gonna have like a grown vision of the world. They just grew up and have the same development of any children in every school, that having to dad or to mom or homosexual or bisexual or even transgender parents don't have nothing to see with them.
Because you weren't feeling different.
Yeah, it's something with your born, not something that the people teach you. Nobody teach you how to be straight or gay. You just burn like that, and are not so much to do really.
It's more like what happened in Orlando. The parent of that men who do that say that God,
The God, how what you say that happened in Orlando was the dad of the murder say that God have to punishment all of them because they're sick and God.
no, his son.
Yeah, like they say the God made men's with women's and women with men's, but they really don't because I think if God really exists, I don't think that he gonna hate you because you're gay or something like that. That's not happen because God loves every one of single us, and you don't have to care if you're gay or lesbian or straight.
Here in the Holy Bible say they show the homosexuality present because it's always present. The in grace, the teachers with the student have a relation, a
Like,
sexual relation and a romantic relation. And only people that study in that epoch
Epoch.
was men. So teachers and students have a sexual relations and nobody say nothing. And it's normal.
Yeah, it's like the old Greece, the soldiers have like homosexual relationship for feel kindness with the other, but when Catholic religions born, they think there is bad for a bad interpretation of the Holy Bible. Yeah, so how the for a bad interpretation for the Holy Bible, the Sodom and Gomorrah, they think that homosexuality is bad, but it's not. It's not bad.
The problem is that we live in a society who think that they are. We think we live in a developed society, but our mentally is like a
close. It's a close mentality. It's like an old mentality.
here. The government tried to make a law that accepted, but we are going to be teachers and we looking for information that talk about diversity and the sexual diversity in the school.
But the government don't have a plan about it. We can't do Minidoc research in the Minidoc and we don't have information at all. They only think that with the ley de inclusión escolar all the problems are solved, but it's not because in the schools the people are mean, like really mean, with the people that are different because in the schools they teach you that different is wrong, but it doesn't.
And don't have a plan for help them, the people who feel different, because when you start to feel different, sometimes you think I feel wrong, but nobody helps you for that.
They don't have the support what they need. They don't need to go with a counselor or with the director or with the principal of the school. They just need support. They don't need a book about it, a class about it. They need support, and the teacher have to understand. Mobility have a good programs about how to approach the diversity, but the government don't accept them. Like for example, the controversy about with the book Nicholas tiene dos papás. They make a big deal about it, that how in the school you have to teach this and blah blah blah, or talk about it.
Only for because the book is for children from 6, 7 years